Hi everyone, let's go ahead and use the order of operations to simplify complex fractions in the following two questions here. So we have question number 1, 3 to the third power plus 5 to the second power divided by 1/4 squared. So let's start with that here. So I'm going to rewrite this over here, and then I'm also going to draw a little scratch work side of the page on the other side. So basically what we need to do first here is complete all the exponents first. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the exponents first, and then we'll rewrite what it looks like after that. So we have 3 to the third power first. And remember, what an exponent is doing is repeated multiplication. So we have 3 times 3 times 3 here. 5 to the second power then is 5 times 5. And 1 to the fourth power is then, or excuse me, 1/4 to the second power, I should say, is 1/4 times 1/4. Okay? Now, 3 to the third power, 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Okay, so 3 to the third power is equal to 27. 5 to the second power, 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And 1/4 to the second power, or 1/4 times 1/4, you'd multiply the numerators, 1 times 1, which is 1, and multiply the denominators, which is 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay, so now let's go ahead and replace the different items here. So we have 3 to the third power, which again is 27, plus 5 to the second power, which is 25, over 1/16, so divided by 1/16 now. So from here, we're going to add 27 plus 25. So this is the numerator part of your problem. So you're going to simplify that part. That is equal to 52. So if I redraw that part, we have 52. And that is then divided by 1/16. So now with a complex fraction, what we're going to do here is we're going to now take the numerator, 52, and that becomes the left side of a fraction problem. So we're dividing by 1/16 now. Now I would also put this whole number over 1 here. Now going to fractions, or division of fractions, this is where the keep it, change it, flip it rule comes in, where we keep the 52 over 1 the same, and then we change this to multiplication and flip the right side fraction, and it will now become 16 over 1. And from here then we can solve. Now this is interesting, this is just 1 times 1, so there's no cross reduction that I can do. I just go straight to multiplying. 1 times 1 is 1, and then we're doing 52 times 16. 52 times 16 then is a big number. It is going to be 832 here. So we have 832 over 1, which does simplify down to just 832. Okay, so that's question 1. Now let's take a look at question 2. So rewriting the problem, we have 1/4 plus 1/2. That's the numerator part of a complex fraction, where we then in the bottom have 3/4 minus 1/2. So what we're basically doing is we need to simplify the numerator and then simplify the denominator part of that problem. So I'm going to go over here and draw the scratch work side of the page now again. And we're going to solve the first fraction problem here. So this is the 1/4 plus 1/2 type problem. So our first step here is we need to find a common denominator. Now, a common denominator for 2 and 4 is just the number 4, right? 2 goes into 4. So all I need to actually change here is the second fraction. I'm going to multiply by a factor of 2. So rewriting this, I now have 1/4 plus 2 over 4. Okay. From here, you can go ahead and add your numerators. 1 plus 2 is 3, and keep the same denominator, which is 4. So my top part of this complex fraction simplifies down to 3/4. So I'm going to draw that rewrite that right here. So 3/4 over, now we're going to do the 3/4 minus 1/2 part. So again, in this case, the common denominator is simply going to be our 2. So all I need to change is the 2 into 4 part. So I multiply this by 2 and this by 2. And now rewriting this fraction, we have 3/4 minus 2 over 4. And then when I subtract those, I get 1 over 4, right? 3 minus 2 is 1, and you keep the same denominator. So now what we actually have here is 3/4 divided by 1/4. So if I rewrite this horizontally, this is what this fraction looks like. Okay. From here, I'm going to follow that keep it, change it, flip it rule, where I keep the left side fraction, 3 over 4. I change division to multiplication, and then I flip the right side fraction, and it becomes 4 over 1. From here, I can reduce down. So I can look diagonally, and I can reduce. So I'm going to reduce this by 4, and this by 4. So rewriting my fractions, I now have 1 over 1, or excuse me, 3 over 1. That's the 3 there. 3 over 1, and then times 4 divided by 4 is, this is the 1 over 1 part. Okay. From here, I can complete my multiplication. So 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. And this is then equal to 3. Okay. So you can find more of these problems in the OpenStax textbook in the section Use the Order of Operations to Simplify Complex Fractions. I'll drop that link to the textbook and more of those problems in the description below.